Okay, today we're going to talk about something that can literally mean the difference between life and death, CPR. And over the next few minutes, we're going to strip away all the complexity and show you how a few simple actions can give someone a fighting chance. So let's dive right in.
I want you to picture this for a second. You're in a park, or at the grocery store, maybe even in your own living room, and someone suddenly collapses. They're not moving, they're not responding. You know, your first instinct might be to panic, right? But what you do in those first few seconds, that's what truly matters.
For every single minute that passes after someone goes into cardiac arrest, their chance of survival drops by a staggering 10%. Think about that. The clock isn't just ticking, it is racing. And after about 10 minutes, those odds, they become almost zero. And look, this isn't some rare thing you only see in movies. In the US alone, over 356,000 cardiac arrests happen outside of a hospital every single year. And here's the real kicker, around 70% of them happen at home. So the person you might need to save is very likely to be someone you know and love.
This is exactly where you come in. Paramedics are on the way, but they're not there yet. And in that critical gap, a bystander, someone just like you, can be the bridge between life and death. You can change everything. So what is CPR actually doing? There's this really common misconception that you're, restarting the heart, like in the movies. But the reality is actually a lot simpler, and it's just as vital.
CPR, which stands for cardiopulmonary resuscitation, is basically a manual override for the body. When the heart stops beating, it can't circulate that oxygen-rich blood to the brain and other organs. So with your hands, you take over that job. You literally become a temporary external heart.
And this is the core mission of CPR. You are buying precious time. That's it. You're not fixing the problem, but you are keeping the brain and vital organs alive until help arrives with equipment like a defibrillator. You are providing up to a third of the body's normal blood flow, and that simple action is the single most important factor in giving that person a real fighting chance.
All right, so how do you do it? I want you to forget any complicated techniques you might have seen or heard about. Modern CPR for bystanders is all about a few simple, totally unforgettable principles.
Just remember these 3 simple steps. Check, call, compress. First, check to make sure the scene is safe. Then tap the person's shoulder and shout, "Hey, are you okay?" If they don't respond and they're not breathing or maybe just gasping for air, immediately call 911. And if someone else is there, point directly at them and say, "You." Call 911 and find an AED. Then, without any delay, you start to compress.
Now, this is what we call high-quality CPR. First, the rate. You got to push at a speed of 100 to 120 compressions a minute, fast. Second, depth. For an adult, push down at least 2 inches. Third, and this is absolutely crucial, allow for full chest recoil. You have to let the chest come all the way back up. That's what lets the heart refill with blood before you push again. And finally, minimize interruptions. Every second you stop, blood flow to the brain stops.
And here's a little trick you will never ever forget. To hit that 100 to 120 beats per minute sweet spot, just do the compressions to the rhythm of the Bee Gees' classic Stayin' Alive. It's the perfect tempo and, let's be honest, pretty fitting for the situation, right?
Now I know what you might be thinking. What about the rescue breaths? For years, that was the biggest thing that held people back. But the good news is, for most adult emergencies, there is a much simpler, highly effective method.
It's called hands-only CPR, and it strips the whole process down to its most essential part, uninterrupted chest compressions. It's designed to be simple, easy to remember, and it gets rid of any hesitation someone might have about doing mouth-to-mouth.
So why is this the go-to for most of us? Well, when an adult suddenly collapses, there's usually enough oxygen left in their blood to last for the first several minutes. The immediate problem isn't a lack of oxygen, it's a lack of circulation. Hands-only CPR focuses entirely on solving that one critical problem, which makes it way easier to remember and way more likely that a bystander will actually step in and help.
Okay, so let's be super clear on when to use which method. If you see an adult or a teen suddenly collapse, you jump in with hands-only CPR. Simple. But conventional CPR, with that cycle of 30 compressions and 2 breaths, is still really essential for infants, children, and for anyone who collapsed because of a breathing problem, like from drowning or a drug overdose. In those cases, getting oxygen in is the top priority.
Now, besides hesitation over the technique, there's another major fear that stops people from helping, and it's a big one. What if I hurt them? Can I get sued? Let's clear that up right now, because the answer is overwhelmingly reassuring.
You see, Good Samaritan laws exist in pretty much every state and country for this exact reason. They're designed to protect you from being sued when you step in to help during an emergency, as long as you're acting in good faith.
And the protection applies under just a few common sense conditions. You have to be acting voluntarily, not for payment. You have to act reasonably and stick to what you know how to do. And if the person is unresponsive, their consent to help is implied. It's pretty straightforward.
The whole point of these laws is simple. It's to remove that fear of legal trouble so that you can feel empowered to step in and save a life.
And this right here is a really key distinction. Look, it is common and sometimes necessary for ribs to break during effective CPR. The law understands this and it protects you. What it doesn't protect are reckless actions that are way outside your training. But as long as you're just doing CPR, the law has your back.
Okay, so we've covered the what, the why, and the how. We've seen that it's way simpler than you probably thought and that you're legally protected. So let's bring it all home.
Just look at this chart. The impact that you, a bystander, can have is not small. It is monumental. Performing CPR right away can double or even triple a person's chance of survival. Your actions are literally the difference maker.
If there is one single thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. A person in cardiac arrest is clinically dead. Their heart has stopped. You cannot possibly make the situation worse by trying to help. The only thing that guarantees a bad outcome is doing nothing at all.
The power is in your hands. You have the knowledge now. The steps are simple. And in that one critical moment, you have the ability to give someone the greatest gift imaginable, a second chance at life. The only question left is, will you be ready to use it?